This thank you tour is working beautifully,
It is.
and it's interesting to contrast the outgoing with the new, the old with the new, and the old today. I honestly, Bree, I didn't know where he was going to go. It turned out he was recanting his story about the hacking of election and was talking about a Russian hacking of the DNC. A remarkable reversal, don't you think?
Oh, certainly. I mean, every single day it's like a new scapegoat, a new reason why Hillary Clinton lost. You know, I mean, today it's the Russians, but yesterday it was, today rather, I should say it was the media. Yesterday it was the Russians. Every single day it's a new reason why she won. And, you know, I just think that it's important to remind everyone the things that the Russians didn't do or the media didn't do in this situation, right? Neither of these entities set up a private email server for Hillary Clinton and used it to curry favors for big-pocketed donors. Neither of these entities forced Hillary Clinton, or rather prevented her from coming up with a coherent economic message. And neither of these prevented Hillary Clinton with coming up for a reason to give voters to vote for her. So, I mean, these excuses that we're hearing, and they're just different every single day, really just don't answer the real question of why she lost and don't address the real issue with her campaign, which is that she was an extremely flawed candidate.
Lou, it's almost like they're Obama's doing the excuse tour as Trump's doing his thank you tour. That had to have been one of the more pathetic press conferences I've seen, and I had to watch every last minute of it to comment on it at some point. But for him to make excuse after excuse after excuse, and Lou, I was sitting there going, did Josh Earnest write every one of those questions or only most of them? It was such a staged event for Obama to be set up and to answer these questions. And again, you know, the thing I think that was a little troubling, there were a couple things in that press conference that were a little troubling. First of all, when he was asked, was that a free and fair election, there's only one answer. Of course it is. We have free and fair elections here in the United States. The other question, though, that I would love to have seen asked, Lou, was, Mr. President, how did it feel to meddle in the Israeli elections in your attempts to unseat Netanyahu? Or how did it feel to meddle with the Brexit vote in your attempts to stop Brexit?
Yeah.
Those would have been fun questions to ask as he was laboring, somewhat bloviating over those staged questions.
Yeah, there's something about self-righteousness that he just has to carry with him. He's never got quite an adequate supply of it. He's looking for, you know, other supplies that always at some point seem to be at hand. You make a terrific point in talking about the intervention in the Netanyahu, the Israeli elections, trying to destroy Netanyahu and spending some considerable money and time to do it.
Our money.
And Brexit, telling the British they're damn fools, basically. This man is not going to be missed in many quarters outside the left.
The good news is he's only got 30-some days left, and then we'll be done with him in the White House, and we'll correct the error of the last 8 years. The other point I was going to make, Lou, that was
you make that sound very easy. We all know that it's going to be very, very hard, tough work for the incoming administration.
It is. I think, though, the thing that was the other troubling thing, Lou, was when he said that we're going to retaliate against the Russians. Well, I think the responsible thing would be for him to talk with the Trump administration, seeing as he only has 30-some days left, to say how are we going to address this so that he doesn't do anything and then leave the Trump administration holding the bag. So I thought that was very irresponsible for him to say that on NPR earlier in the day and then also to kind of reiterate that during his press conference. So I hope that he realizes that if there's something to be done in dealing with this alleged Russian hacking, he needs to be working with the Trump administration.
Yeah, absolutely. Bree, it's really a stark contrast, is it not, to look at Hillary Clinton with about 400 of her donors, you know, in bright New York City, where she's explaining herself and embracing them on the it seems slim chance that she'll need their money again, and President Trump, President-elect Trump, out on the campaign trail saying thank you to all of the people who supported him. It's really just such a striking contrast between the two, and tells us a lot about why he won and what kind of leader he will be, don't you think?
Oh, you're completely right. Politico earlier this week released a very blistering and very detailed and kind of exhaustive report just detailing every single mistake after mistake that the Clinton campaign made, and the fact that she started and ended her campaign from New York City, I think is rather telling in the sense that, here she is kind of in this metropolitan bubble dealing with voters who are very detached from the rest of America. And those are the voters, and those are the individuals, and those are the people that she was hiring and working with and surrounded herself with. And you're right, her campaign was extremely inefficient, and you're right, it stands in stark contrast with the way that Donald Trump handled his campaign. A lot of us watched his campaign and kind of were scratching our heads like, oh, is he sure that he knows what he's doing and that he is handling this, as his campaign staff was like the average size of a Senate race, right? So it really does go to show you that Donald Trump didn't need all of the bells and whistles, all of these shiny things that Hillary Clinton invested a lot of money in. And it just goes to show you that she was never really able to articulate a reason why people should vote for her. She acted the entire time as if it was just her turn. And that message just simply didn't resonate with voters.